Chapter 15, January 17th, 2201. The Egg, Low Earth Orbit. Cooper was tired from the travel and the stress. He waited in a chair just outside Commander Smith's office. He found straps just below the chair and figured they were to hold him in place. He put his feet through them and it worked. He pulled himself up into the chair and floated just above it. He had no idea what would happen next. Ryder mentioned that he would go to cadet training, but he didn't have any details. He wanted to open the pack and see what his dad left for him, but it just seemed too soon. His dad was gone, and he didn't want to think about that right now. As he waited, he started thinking about his future. He knew he was ready for a change, but a change as big as going to Sperrier? That would be a journey he couldn't even imagine. He hadn't even explored all the places in New Denver or even Topside yet. New Denver. How could he even think about that place right now? He rushed out of his apartment so quickly he didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to his friends. Not that he had many friends, but it might have been nice at least to talk to Greg before he left and give those books he found in the library to Mrs. Terrell. On the other hand, the ship was amazing. He had only heard about this kind of technology, but he didn't believe it was real. There were places in New Denver where the lights weren't even working, and the pathways only covered some parts of the whole complex. Based on that, how could anyone build a ship this complex floating above the earth? He should say falling around the earth. He did know a little bit about physics and science. Ryder mentioned that the egg was stationed above the United States in low Earth orbit. This meant that the ship had to be falling around the Earth at the same rate the planet was turning to maintain its location. He read once on the terminal that this was a speed of almost 7,000 miles per hour. It was hard to imagine that is how fast he was going, that fast right now, and it made him stop for a moment to think. Obviously, when he was on Earth, it was moving through space at a much higher rate of speed. However, the fastest speed he had experienced was the pathways, which only moved about 5 miles per hour. The door opened, Ryder came out, and it closed behind him. Cooper got to his feet slowly as Ryder approached. Well, that meeting went as well as I could expect. Cooper, I guess we will continue this adventure a little longer. Come with me. Ryder beckoned as he grabbed the grips above him and started floating down the corridor like he was swimming through it. After going through multiple corridors, they reached a door labeled Guest Room 1, and Ryder opened it. Their room was small, housing just a bunk bed and a small table. But like Smith's room, this one also had an incredible view of the earth. Cooper grabbed the table and held onto it for the fear of falling. He felt sort of queasy, realizing where he was and what he was looking at. Don't worry, Cooper. It will get easier, Ryder said as he grabbed Cooper's shoulder and guided him to a seat. Ryder took the seat across from him. As I was saying, Cooper Smith ordered me to escort you to cadet training on Armstrong Base. This is the main base on the moon and was named after Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon. It turns out there is a supply ship heading en route back to the moon tomorrow, and we can hitch a ride, Ryder explained. Supply ship? Cooper asked, confused. Yes, Ryder confirmed. The moon helps supply the egg with material, and this weekly ship provides a way to change out the personnel regularly as well. What will happen when we reach the moon base, Ryder? Cooper continued. Well, it just so happens that a new set of cadets begin training this week. There is still a chance that some of them, including you, will qualify to join the cadre bound for Sperrier on the Mayflower. Every ship needs cadets. They are the lifeblood of the fleet, providing the basic functions from maintenance to security. As other ship captains say, why take the risk of yourself when you can have a cadet do it for you? Will you stay with me at the training center facility, Ryder? Cooper looked up from the table he was staring at. No, alas, I will need to not be able to stay. Commander Smith gave me a new mission. I am not at liberty to discuss it, but it should be a short mission, so I might see you later on after training, Ryder explained. Now, it has been an extremely long day for both of us, and it is time to get some rest. They took turns in the small bathroom. It was a challenge for Cooper learning how to use so many things with no gravity. He learned how to take a shower in the small stall with the water all around him. When he hit the button, the water was sucked down into a drain, along with providing him a warm breeze to dry off. Brushing his teeth was another challenge, especially when he tried to rinse the brush and it sprayed water out by mistake. The water goblets were all around the room, and he had fun grabbing them with his mouth. He finally made it into bed. There was a strap like a seatbelt to keep him down since he might float away if he moved around too much. While they probably should have closed the curtains because it was so bright, Cooper said he wanted them left open so he could look down at the earth all night. But after a few moments, he was sound asleep. Chapter 16, January 18th, 2201, The Egg, Low Earth Orbit. The next day, they both woke up refreshed and ready to start the day. Ryder laid out a new outfit for Cooper to wear. It consisted of undergarments in a drab green color and a blue jumpsuit. Ryder indicated that this was the traditional attire up here on the Egg as well as in space. The outfit would keep him warm, as it was generally colder in spaceships than underground in New Denver. They sat at the breakfast table and ate omelets out of plastic heated bags and drank juice out of bags with straws. Ryder was also in a jumpsuit, but his was a darker blue color with an insignia over his name indicating his major rank. After eating, they packed up the bags they brought and headed out the door. Ryder directed them down a few more corridors and toward what looked like the bottom of the station. At one point, they faced a long tube down, and Ryder told him that it was fun to go head first as if you were Superman. It was incredible to be gliding so smoothly past everything, sort of racing down, but not really down, as direction didn't matter much up here. When they reached the docking station, the pilot was there to meet him. "Hello, my name is Captain Roland Merkel, and I will be your pilot for the trip to Armstrong Moon Base. Welcome to the USS Challenger. I am sorry to say that this is not a real passenger ship. It is mostly designed for cargo, so there aren't a lot of comfort. This trip will take a little more than 2 days travel time." As they entered the passenger area, Cooper had to adjust his orientation. He was confused, as it appeared that all the furniture was on the wall. But because they were in free fall and didn't have any weight, Cooper was able to reorient and get himself into one of the white and oddly comfortable passenger seats. Captain Merkel checked to make sure both of them were properly strapped in, and then he went through a list of safety rules, pointing to where the food supplies were and the bathroom. He ended with, "I will let you know when you can move about the seats and move around. Since we will be accelerating for half the trip and decelerating for the other half, you will have the feeling of some gravity for most of the trip. The terminal in the corner will allow you some basic access to information, including our current velocity and expected travel time. Do you have any questions for me?" Cooper was speechless and didn't have any idea what to ask, but then something came to him. "Captain Merkel, if we are decelerating for the second half of the trip, won't we be thrown to the other side of the cabin, the soon-to-be ceiling?" Captain Merkel looked at him with a slight grin. "Son, that is an excellent question. Most space travelers are used to this, but since this appears to be your first flight, I will explain. When we reach the middle of our flight, you will become weightless for a little bit. I will warn you ahead of time, then I will be flipping the ship around for deceleration, and so you will be able to sit in the same seat you are in now. What did you say your name was?" "Sir, my name is Cooper Richardson." "Richardson?" Merkel looked at him with interest. "You aren't the son of Sarah and Mitch, are you?" "Yes, sir. Those were my parents," Cooper confirmed. "Ah, I can see the resemblance to your mother. I would like to shake your hand then, son. Your mother, Sarah, was an inspiration to me. She is one of my idols, and I still can't believe that she was taken from us at such a young age." And with that, Merkel shook Cooper's hand, bowed, and said, "It is an honor to have you on my ship. Please let me know if there's anything else I can do to help you." Merkel left the cabin, sealed the lock, and went to the cockpit. "Do you see why I said it was your destiny to come to space and be more than a freelancer, Cooper?" Ryder said rhetorically. "I was hoping it would take longer before someone recognized who you are. Your mom is a hero to many and is the reason why we can recruit so many women into the program. I hope you don't get too big a head, though, before you are ready. Sadly, this will probably put more pressure on you in cadet training. You have quite a reputation to live up to." "Oh, great," was all Cooper could think. "I might not be ready for this." They felt the noises of the movement and the jerk of being freed from the Egg, then the loud hum from the engines. They were off. At first the acceleration was strong and Cooper felt pasted into a seat without a way to move. But after a while the acceleration was reduced and they heard Merkel come over the intercom announcing that they could get up if they wanted to. "Ah, it's a relief to be once more under gravity," thought Cooper. The acceleration should give us the feeling of what it will be like on the moon. When you walk, take it gingerly at first until you are used to the sensation. Try a little gallop like I do. Ryder said this while showing Cooper a motion that resembled a hop and a skip motion. Cooper put his feet on the floor and took a couple of steps, trying the gallop motion that Ryder showed him. It was easy to pick up, but then he thought, why not try jumping? Suddenly, it was like flying. He jumped so high and floated back down slowly to the floor. Okay, okay, yes, you can jump higher than you ever imagined, Ryder said, laughing a little. Cooper was a natural in space. For some reason, he had adapted to the changes in gravity easily and was jumping from wall to wall and doing backflips. He was laughing hysterically. He never felt so good in his life, except maybe the moment he found those knives, but this was a whole new kind of happiness. For a moment, he forgot about New Denver, his dad, and even the upcoming cadet training. He was just having fun. Okay, okay, Cooper, take a break and come sit here and eat some food. I want to talk to you a little bit about your upcoming training, Ryder ordered softly. Cooper bounced down from the wall he jumped to and drifted back to a seat. He loved feeling so light and free, and he wondered if it would feel like this the whole time on the moon. They ate for a while without talking. Ryder heated up some barbecue beef and rice packets to eat, along with some mango passion juice to drink. After they finished eating, Ryder disposed of the waste and came back to sit with Cooper. Cooper, training is not going to be easy, but your problem-solving skills and initiative will prove helpful in the situations you will face. I don't know how much you have read about basic training back in the days when there were ground troops, but not much has changed about the philosophy of training. The goal is to break you, and by break you, this means physically and mentally. Once you have been broken, they can mold you into a cadet who will listen to orders during emergencies without question. I know this seems a little strange, but your leaders know what to do in emergencies, and this strategy keeps the cadet from panicking when they need to focus on their orders. I know you're not used to following orders, so my advice is to do what you're told. If you question your sergeant's orders, you will find out that cadet training can be brutal. However, I don't expect them to break you. Just do what you're told and remember who you are as a person inside. This all sounded awful to Cooper, and he interrupted Ryder to tell him just that. However, Ryder countered these complaints with, It's not all that bad, Cooper, but I need to make sure you know what you're getting into. The key is that once you complete training, you will be a space cadet, and you will be assigned to one of the space missions taking place right now. Depending on how well you do in your advanced training, you might be able to get assigned to the Mayflower. Advanced training? Cooper interrupted. What is that? Well, basic training is only about 10 weeks. After that, the sergeants will determine what type of advanced training you will go into. This will be based on several items, including how well you do in your written and performance tests, your aptitude for certain tests, and of course, you will get some say in what you want to do after they introduce you to the various jobs, Ryder calmed him by explaining. In fact, that brings me to the next item that I want to discuss, which is what you might want to do with your career. You should probably see what jobs might be available before we talk in depth about your future. I have seen your test scores from school, and you will probably have your choice of many different jobs. I programmed your information into this tablet, just like they would do in cadet training, and it will offer you the 10 best jobs that seem fit for you at this moment. The list will change as you go through various tests and training in basic. Some jobs may be added or dropped from the list based on your various algorithms that are used, but usually the initial scores can give you an overview of what to expect. You will notice that both your parents' jobs are listed in the top 10. This is to be expected based on your genetics, but there might be a few on there that will surprise you. Don't be so quick to rule anything out at this point. Remember, some of the jobs will evolve if you were to reach Sperrier. Or, upon reaching Sperrier, there is an option to become a civilian, but you will lose a lot of the privilege because right now the new planet is being monitored by the military. Now, I need to get some more rest, Ryder said as he handed the small tablet to Cooper, went over to his chair, turned it into a recliner, and promptly fell asleep. Cooper held the tablet in his hand. It was small and easily fit into his hand, and the screen was so clear and detailed. He had never seen anything like it. The terminals on New Denver were bulky and needed to be plugged into the wall to work. Imagine if I could have used this to map out the buildings I checked out topside, Cooper thought. I would never have to backtrack. But this was a fool's thought. He was here now, and he had to embrace his future, so with that in mind, he tapped the Explore Options button on the screen to see his choices. The screen started out by showing his picture. I wonder where they got that from, Cooper thought. Then there was a short narrative describing his parents and where he was born. Interesting that it showed his birth as the moon rather than in the Voyager. He would have to ask Ryder about that later, not now, of course, as he was sound asleep, snoring softly. Then it showed some of his test scores, which were what he expected: superior scores in math and science, slightly above average scores in history and English. Then he saw another button below this that read Special Attributes. He couldn't resist and clicked it. Another screen came up showing a bulleted list of personality traits. He ranked high in initiative, cunning, courage, organization, and problem-solving skills. However, there was a note of worry which read, Cooper sometimes will go into a situation without thinking it through. This got him into trouble a few times while freelancing. It is something to watch for in training. Additionally, Cooper recently learned the truth about his parents and watched his father die at the hands of the Raiders. This might affect his judgment during stressful situations. He didn't expect them to be so blunt in this report. Go into a situation without thinking it through? Really? He said out loud, forgetting that Ryder was trying to sleep. He closed the attributes window and went through the jobs one by one. Each job showed the title, the role, and what was required to complete the training. Some of them had short videos showing what the job would be like. The maintenance engineer video made him laugh as they tried to make cleaning toilets look like a fun job. Between laughs, he heard the cadet on the video say, Our job is critical to keeping the whole ship going. I know I am doing my part to ensure the success of the whole mission. Well, yeah, okay. I guess a clean toilet and shower are important, but I don't think this was the job for me, Cooper thought. Then he came to the mechanical engineer position, which was what his mom did when she was in the service. He wished so much that he had known her. The mechanical engineer was more interesting to him. It involved some maintenance work, but mostly it was the actual pair of items that were broken, or piecing together temporary fixes with the spare parts that piqued his interest. This was critical on long space journeys. Another job that caught his eye was a specialization called an astromechanical engineer. Like his mother, and similar to a mechanical engineer, this cadet spent most of their time repairing the outside of a ship in a spacesuit. His dad's job was on the tablet as well. He read, As a project manager, it is important to be organized, but you will also need to be a people person and able to motivate others to meet deadlines or complete tasks that sometimes seem impossible. The overall goal is to ensure that the project, whatever it is, stays on track, is completed on time, and under budget. Under budget includes time, resources, and manpower. This sounded intriguing to Cooper, but he didn't know much about the people part of it. While he made a few friends in New Denver, he realized that he enjoyed life mostly when he was out on his own exploring. Cooper thought an astrobiologist sounded like a compelling job as well. It meant the study of life in space, whether it be how humans handle space or finding and studying alien forms of life. This would be a critical role once more humans reach Sperrier. Astrobiologists were already studying Sperrier from orbit, and they were on some of the other planets in the solar system examining life. Finally, the last one he read made him laugh out loud. Infantry. They must put this on all the lists, Cooper thought, because they always need soldiers willing to be on the front lines risking their lives daily. He read from the description. The role of the infantry is to protect and serve. On spaceships, the moon, and on the Earth, this means ensuring the security of the operations, protecting the civilians as well as the military. There wasn't much security in New Denver, so he didn't have much experience with this. However, he didn't seem himself carrying a weapon and actually shooting someone. Once he finished the list of jobs, he was feeling a lot better about advanced training, knowing he would have options that appealed to him after basic training. He was also feeling sleepy, so he decided to rest as well. He looked out the small window before sitting down, but there wasn't much to see right now. There were some bright lights, which were probably some of the other planets. He didn't know which was which, so with a big yawn, he sat down on the chair, found the recliner feature, and was quickly asleep. Chapter 17, January 19th, 2201, aboard the USS Challenger. Ryder and Cooper slept for a long time and woke to the sound of classical music playing through the speakers. It was so easy to sleep at low G level because there wasn't much pressure on the body. Cooper woke, relaxed and refreshed. Ryder was preparing some pancakes and looked like he was having fun flipping them. Because of the low gravity, he could flip the pancake high in the air, spin around, and still catch it. Cooper caught him while he was doing a backflip before making the catch and applauded. Ryder seemed visibly embarrassed to have been caught, but then smiled a little. You know, Cooper, I rarely get to enjoy myself anymore, Ryder said while flipping a pancake up in the air to make sure it landed softly on Cooper's plate. Ryder continued, My job is what you would call a fixer. I am the one who goes in when things have gone awry and they need someone to put it back together again. This is what I was doing in Denver. You see, as we saw in some of the other cities, the raiders were becoming more aggressive, dangerous. One of our greatest worries is that the raiders would decide to attack the underground cities. They wouldn't have much of a challenge as most of the civilians have become complacent and weak. I can see by the look on your face that you don't like me talking about your fellow New Denverites that way, but it is the government's fault. After the riots, they put down most, if any, resistance. Without resistance, most people just simply fall into line and do what they are told. It is just easier that way. Ryder continued while flipping another pancake up and over the light and onto Cooper's plate. You see, the raiders in New Denver were amassing weapons. Where they found the weapons, we haven't figured out yet. I know it must be hard to think of it again, your father's sacrifice that day, but it gave us a lot of intel on how the raiders work. When they attacked the library, we weren't able to put their rebellion back. We were able to put their rebellion back a long way. We won't have to worry about a New Denver attack for a long time. I just wish I could say the same about other cities around the country. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but in New Dallas, the raiders took over the underground city and controlled it for over 2 months. Wow, Cooper said through mouthfuls. Were you there for that one? Yes, Cooper, nodded Ryder. I was forced to infiltrate the raiders' group and destroy them from inside. Unfortunately, many civilians died so we could gain back control of New Dallas. I was called into New Denver about 3 months ago when reports were coming in about similar problems. And that was when I recognized you in the surveillance. I wanted to pull you and your father out sooner, but I was under orders to just observe. The day you saw me on the street, I was preparing to infiltrate the Raiders band, but I realized that if I didn't stop you from going down that street, you would walk right into their group. Sadly, your father's death helped me bring them out in full force and ended their group forever with the loss of the library. However, I wasn't able to determine how they were running things or why they were getting so aggressive like they did in New Dallas. But now, there will be someone else's mission, and I will be sent to another problem that is brewing in the stars. Ryder and Cooper finished eating and spent a few minutes looking out the window. There still wasn't much to see, blackness all around, but the sun was beginning to come in from the side of the window. Cooper had never seen the stars before, as he always made sure to be back underground before dark. It was incredible to think about how many unknown planets are out there, around the stars, still yet unexplored. He wondered if Sperair was just one place that humans would reside. Eventually, humans might cover them all. Ryder suggested they get a little exercise. I want to see what you can do physically. Let's try some push-ups. Ryder started with some simple exercises, and when they got to work out on push-ups, they were relatively easy because of the low gravity. So Ryder pushed him hard by putting part of his body weight on Cooper's back to more emulate what the training would be like. You see, Cooper, Ryder instructed, in cadet training, they will give you weighted suits. This is so you will build up your strength and feel the same forces you would feel on Earth. It might seem a little odd considering you might never go back to Earth, but you know that Sperair is close to Earth's gravity, so you want to make sure you have the strength when you get there. After the calisthenics, Ryder suggested a game of tag. The goal was to catch the other person by leaping around the room. Cooper liked this activity because he had been playing that way the day before. Ryder was good, though. He had obviously played this game before. As Cooper tried again to catch him and failed, Ryder yelled at him, When you practice at zero gravity, this game is all about ensuring you exert just the right force in the precise direction to reach the other opponent. Once you are in motion, it is nearly impossible to change directions until you get to the other wall. part of your training will be out in space, so you are prepared to work and live at any gravity level. Cooper finally caught him after he worked his way closer to Ryder and trapped him in the corner. Good, Cooper, you are learning. Ryder congratulated him with a pat on the back. They got back down into the chairs in the kitchen for something to drink following the workout. As they were resting, Captain Merkel's voice came over the intercom. Good news, gentlemen. We are at the halfway point in our trip. Please strap yourselves into your seats. When you hear the first set of beeps, you will notice that you have become weightless. This is because we are no longer accelerating. Then I will turn the ship in the other direction and begin the deceleration, and the gravity will come back. Ryder packed up their food and escorted Cooper back to their seats. As they finished strapping in, the first set of beeps sounded, and Cooper felt his arms and his whole body come up from the seat. He looked through the window and saw the stars change position as the ship was turned around. Because they were weightless, he wouldn't have known that anything changed without the visual reference. Then, about 10 minutes later, they heard a second set of beeps, and Captain Merkel's voice came on again. Gentlemen, prepare for deceleration and the return of artificial gravity. Cooper was enjoying every moment of this. It was a chance to see the physics he learned back in school in action. He heard the rockets fire and felt gravity return to him. Cool, was all Cooper could think to say. Then they heard a final set of beeps notifying them they were free again to move about the cabin because they were now at Moon's gravity level once more. They returned to the kitchen table to talk more. Cooper looked up to Ryder and said, I have been thinking about what you told me about the training. I have a few questions. Who are the cadets I'm training with? Are they all freelancers like me? Great question, Cooper. As you remember, part of my mission was seeking out potential freelancers like yourself who could also become cadets. We have also recruited some of the raiders, but haven't been as successful because of their aggressive tendencies. Most of the cadets in training lived in space all their lives. You will be one of the younger recruits we have ever taken. Cooper gave Ryder a concerned look. Cooper, I'm not going to lie to you. Cadet training is going to be difficult. There will be some better cadets and some who are worse than you. Just do your best and don't give up. I can't say much more than that. You have the brains and the guts to do this. Make your parents proud. Ryder said, giving him a little grab on the shoulder as they got up to prepare some food for lunch. The rest of the day was uneventful. Cooper looked at the different possible jobs again, but his heart wasn't in it. He was worried about the training, but Ryder made some good points, and he just needed to try his best. They got ready for bed early that night, and when they extended the recliners, they knew it would be for the last time. They would arrive at Armstrong Moon Base tomorrow and go their separate ways. While he barely knew the man, Cooper looked to Ryder almost as a second father. They had talked more during those few days than he ever had with his own dad. Plus, Ryder was there to protect him, helping Cooper avoid the raiders and risking his own life to try and save Mitch. Cooper didn't want to say goodbye tomorrow. He wanted to stay with Ryder and learn more about his past and the new world around him. Cooper hoped they could at least stay in touch, but Ryder told him that recruits weren't allowed contact with the outside world during the first 10 weeks of training. At least, Ryder said, with his clearance level, he could follow Cooper's progress through the training and try to see him when he could after his next mission was complete.